be part of a special night honoring volleyball's finest. USA Volleyball Hall of Fame award ceremony comes to Denver on May 21st.
Witness the induction of legends including Kerry Walsh-Jennings, Taiba Hanif Park, Mike Dodd, and David Lee, to name a few. Secure your tickets at go.usab.org/HOF25.
That's go.usav.org/HOF25. Don't miss this unforgettable evening.
Hello and welcome to the USA Volleyball Show, the official podcast of USA Volleyball. My name is Stephen Munson, joined by my co-host Clarence Hughes and Sevrin Lavenstein, both coming back from travel. So welcome back, fellas.
Thanks, Stephen.
Yeah, it's good to be
There,
back.
I was going to say, it's been a little bit since we've had you available for the podcast. Where in the world have you been? Update us.
And I've been gone so long, I just did onboarding again at USA Volleyball. A lot of Salt Lake, a lot of Salt Lake for about half the month, and then a little bit of Windy City in there, a little bit of I don't want to say a unicorn, but a little bit of a one-off there. Shout out to the Great Lakes region. They asked me to come work that qualifier and got a chance to see over 1,100 teams over a 3-day weekend. That was amazing to see. A lot of teams, but good old Chicago, McCormick Place, and very, very, very well-ran tournament there. So from our qualifier over 2 weekends to the Windy City qualifier to the GNC 18th National Championship that I ran the Sevrin at too. Had a great time there. By the time Sevrin was done, he was kind of zombie sleepwalking back to the room. Surprised he got on this flight and made it back home. But
Damn, he's out of me. Love
that.
Wow.
3 days.
Called out.
Brutal. I thought we were closer than that. No, he's 100% right. As you can probably tell by my voice, the immune system did not survive the entire tournament, but it was a blast. And speaking of well-run events, it was certainly well-run. But yeah, it made it all the way through. And then I think it was just the complete immune system collapse for me there. And it was definitely sleepwalking to the onboarding for the plane too, in addition to back to the hotel.
I'll out myself. That was literally me after the 2 weekends in Salt Lake. And you just feel your body just shutting down. Just like, oh, I'm not going to be okay in about a day and a half. It's fine.
But that's 2 weekends for you. For me, I only had one, so I don't have the excuse.
Yeah, but it's a busy national, you know? Busy national.
It's true. Especially that finals day. Yeah.
I think I saw Sevrin right before everything started. Like, yeah, I'm right here in this area. Didn't see him the rest of the tournament. It was
So he's bearing the lead because what Clarence said, so they have a giant stand in the middle, right in between all the championship courts. And I'm like, all right, I got this. Here's my game plan. I'm going to stay right here in these championship courts and I'm going to be right here for where they do the awards. And he's like, they do them over there, right? And I'm like, no.
By the way, we had this conversation.
You've been sitting there waiting for the awards to happen.
Hey, where they at? Where they going? No, it was yeah. It was a cluster, a very, very tight fit over at the awards area, but they all made it work. Had some new all tournament trophy designs. Shout out to our creative department on that. Has some new honorable mention concepts too, in addition to all tournament. And of course, first, second, and third place. So
it's all the hats too, right?
Oh yeah, championship hats.
That's cool.
Championship pins too. I think we had gold volleyballs as well.
Oh wow.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the budget there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess for both of you, highlights over the weekend in Salt Lake for 18s. Any big wins come up for Clarence? I thought I heard you talking right before we started recording that you announced a final.
I did. Yeah, I got to announce the 18 Freedom and the 18 Patriot final matches, which was a lot of fun. Not as many spectators. We had 18 Open going on at the same time as one of them, but I'm going to shout out specifically that 18 Freedom gold medal match. That was one of the, it went 3. That was one of the more evenly matched finals that I have seen, going back and forth, point for point. And it was a very, very, very clear display of athletics. And I do want to shout out one thing. Well, not a quite shout out because I didn't get a chance to throw it into the announcing. And I hope we kind of do this moving forward for all of our matches, especially for the 16, 17, 18 and up divisions. Really cool to start announcing where these athletes are going to be attending college, whether they're committed or not. I mean, I think that's a really good thing. I mean, I talked about a little bit with the teams there, and they were so excited to just have someone recognize the college that they're going to as well too. So
that's cool.
All in all, an award ceremony thing or in between sets because there's not a lot of time, but we're going to find some time to plug that in there. So
that's cool.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, Sevrin covered the prom, and I think I was there checking teams and registering teams. So I wasn't able to make it, but I mean, I think we had record numbers, but I'll go ahead and let Sevrin touch on prom. And then anything else you want to throw in there?
Yeah, I hate to say any numbers that are incorrect, but I had heard a number that was around 600 floating around, and I think
I heard that number too. Yeah,
I think it might have even been more than that. It's shout out to everybody who's been involved in organizing that. I've seen it from its inception all the way till now, and that's only been 3 years, and it's a legitimate prom, and I hope that for anybody who doesn't know about it, they can kind of see and live vicariously through the video that we posted about it. And just know that it's a big thing, and I love that everybody is really kind of taking full advantage of that. We had a line out the door and down the entire hallway to get in, and I think the event staff did a tremendous job of putting it all together. We had a really cool 360 photo booth going around that was a big hit. The DJs were playing some music that I gotta say I'm getting a little too old to recognize now, which is a little sad, but there were a few throwback bangers in there as well, so that was good. Throw back to the middle school dance days, but no, everybody seemed to really enjoy everything there, and I think it was really, again, just a testament to an idea that I think has taken not a whole lot of time to come together into a big thing, and it's really cool to be able to give these girls a prom that some of them might be missing as well. To just quickly the event and the volleyball, the thing I noticed was I think it was a three-peat for Arizona Storm in 18 Open, which was, I feel like you can count on them to be in the final almost every year at this point, at least every year that I've been going. And that was once again some really good high-level volleyball. And then for me, another cool thing was just being able to catch up with some of our 2024 U19 girls national team athletes and kind of check in with them before their final matches, really, of the of playing club volleyball in the USA system. So it was a great event as always, and from prom the first night all the way to the end, GJNC is such a special event to be a part of for sure.
Such a cool opportunity. My mic was muted. Cool opportunity for those girls to have that prom, because like you mentioned, they miss that at their schools back home. But it's really cool that they get to do that with the volleyball community also, just there at 18s, at our 18s nationals. So great shout out.
And just to clarify too, for Arizona Storm, the 18 Opens team itself didn't three-peat, but it was a three-peat for Arizona Storm at 16 Open, 17 Open, and 18 Open. But
okay, wow, it
was everybody was showing up the threes and throwing that up on the podium. So the club was very they represent the total, and everybody was making sure to throw up the three there when they got their awards.
Well, speaking of winners, I guess for either of you there, do you want to give a quick shout out to the winners for each division?
Sure. Sevrin, you want to go ahead? I mean, you covered it all too, so I just don't want to give flowers where it's due.
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot here. I got to go all the way to find where I've got it here.
And while you're pulling that up, you mentioned you're getting a little too old for that music at prom. If you're getting too old, then I am ancient.
You guys are more hip than I am, so you definitely.
I don't know about that one. Clarence is. I don't know. I don't know about me though. I've fell off my music listening, and I am not caught up on what's hot and what's new.
To the winners in 18 Open, it was Arizona Storm Elite VBC 18 Thunder. In 18 National, it was Arizona Sky Volleyball Academy. AZ Sky 18 Gold was the team. 18 USA was Legacy Volleyball Club. That was the Legacy Girls 18 Elite Squad. 18 Liberty was Fieldhouse Volleyball Club. I apologize for the name, but it's Fieldhouse 18. Keika Michelle, I think is the right way to say that. I'm sorry if I butchered that. 18 American Forza 1 Volleyball. Forza 18-1 is the team there. And then two more 18 Patriot Club V Volleyball, the squad being Club V 17 Black Jenna, and 18 Freedom was American Athletic Club AAC 18 National.
Yes, that is correct. That is 17 Black Jenna from Club V. Their 17s definitely winning, and I don't know exactly, but I heard that they may not have even dropped the set in the 18 Patriot division, and that team also has a bid to 14s through 17s. Don't know exactly what division, maybe open or national. I need to do my research there, but insane playing up to play the 18 nationals and win, and you go ahead and go into 14s through 17s in Dallas too. So we'll see that team potentially 2 times on the podium, depending on how well they do in nationals in Dallas.
Club B, correct me if I'm wrong. That's Salt Lake. That's a Salt Lake club, isn't
And
it?
the Mountain Asians, probably the biggest club in Salt Lake City, and they're also one of the Love clubs as well.
Okay, cool. So yeah, hometown squad showing up. That's awesome. We're talking about all our travels. Quick touch on some upcoming travel for us, for some of us at least. We'll be heading to Gulf Shores. Curtis, our producer, Curtis Ward, our producer, and our marketing team, Jazz and Bree will be there as well. But a lot going on in Gulf Shores. We got the coaching education going on, some clinics going on out there. We got the Beach National Qualifier as well, hosted by the Gulf Coast region, the U.S. Club Championship, and of course the NCAA Beach National Championship as well. That bracket for that is out now. You can check that out on NCAA's website. Just to touch on, the top squads there that are top programs that will be competing. We got UCLA at the top, TCU at number 2, then followed by Stanford, number 3, USC LMU at number 4, and then USC at number 5. But there's 16 programs in that bracket, so it's going to be an awesome championship. And we've talked about it before on the podcast, but one of my favorite events that I've ever been to. It's just such a unique tournament that's run, just being there right on the beach, and all the fans that are just fans and athletes that are just running from court to court as matches finish, with that dual setup with their format that they have. But really excited for that. If you're out there in Gulf Shores, say hi to us. We'd love to meet you, and yeah, really excited to cover that event and all those events that are happening in Gulf Shores. And Sevrin, you will also be at another championship, right?
Yeah, men's NCAA championship time. By the time most people are listening to this, I might already be out there, but we'll be there for the semifinal round and the championship round in Columbus, Ohio. Just looking forward to that after covering just another amazing season of men's college volleyball for another year. And I can't believe it's already almost at the end, but we've got a really great bracket, which I'll talk about in a second. And it's going to be some high-level men's college volleyball coming your way from Columbus.
Clarence,
Make sure you stop by that marketplace.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any specific recommendations?
Oh, man, there's so many.
Hot chicken in there is good.
That hot chicken place is amazing. We'll probably
It's really good.
Sports
Ice cream.
Ice
Ice
cream
cream,
definitely got to go to. I think there's a ramen place in there that's just outstanding. So definitely go there. If you're a fan of boba, there's a boba place in there. If not, they have smoothies too. That barbecue place. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Just go to the barbecue place. Mm-hmm.
Love it. My brother is wrapping up his final couple weeks as a student at Ohio State, but you mentioned the hot chicken. We've had an internal debate over what is better, Cane's or Dave's. And I got to tell you, I'm on the Dave's side, and I know it's not the popular choice, but I'm ready to fight that battle. I think it's Dave's.
This is a tough one because hot take here. I do think they both are overrated in their own ways. I mean, Cane's wouldn't be good without the sauce, but that's the reason why Cane's is good. And you got Dave's hot chicken, which is, I mean, you can get hot chicken anywhere depending on where you are. You got hot chicken in the marketplace at Columbus. That
anywhere is a
good
bold take.
It is a bold take. I'm curious to hear Steve Irons' take on this one.
I don't know Dave's very well, but Curtis, our producer, whoever will sponsor us, that will be our favorite. Yeah,
that's true. I can be bought. My opinion can be bought.
I do love Cane's, and there's not one too far from my house, so we have that every now and then. But and I don't know Dave's very well, so I'm sorry I can't touch on that. But where were we? Was it Chicago, Clarence, where we had the hot chicken?
No,
where was that?
Phoenix, man.
Oh, Phoenix.
Remember we wanted milkshakes and ended up at a hot chicken place? Don't ask me, guys. Don't ask. It makes no sense.
I still get flack from some of our coworkers for doing that because it was hot. It was hot. I had it like the day before, and
You get flagged, but did you tell them to order what they ordered? That's why
I told them it was I told them
you're right. You're right. Yeah, it is your fault. You warned them. Sorry. What are you supposed to do here?
I warned them, and I'm a spicy guy. I do like spicy, but I went with medium just to be safe, and that was the perfect spice level because they warned me too when I was ordering. They were like,
And I think they went one below, and we're just like crying. Sorry.
It's just so funny that we were like trying to get milkshakes and then something cool and refreshing, and then ended up at spicy hot chicken. So
yeah, and just to make it all funny, we just went from a very bumpy and roller coaster type of car ride out of the parking structure to the parking lot, and we walked pretty far for these milkshakes that were closed, and then saw hot chicken across the street and just did it, and the rest is history, guys. You had to be there. What year is that? Phoenix 20 something? Yeah, 20 something.
Yeah, I don't remember. I can't even keep the city straight. So
the last time 18 was in Phoenix was a great time.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
Well,
alrighty.
Let's get on with our episode. We could probably just fill an entire episode with us just catching up, being the first time that we're all three together in a long time. But let's start off with if you haven't listened to our last episode, go check it out. We had a volleyball goat join us on the podcast. That's right. 5-time Olympian, 4-time Olympic medalist Carrie Walsh Jennings came on to talk about my notes here just all erased. I don't know what's going on here, but had a great conversation with Carrie. We talked about her career and then her emotions just being inducted into the USA Volleyball Hall of Fame, and then also being named a finalist for the USOPC Hall of Fame as well. We talked about her career, about watching her kids fall in love with the sport of volleyball as well. A great conversation with Carrie. So definitely, if you haven't checked it out, go check that out now. Listen on all podcast platforms and watch on YouTube and usavolleyball.org. And it looks like we have Clarence back. Did PK hit the end button for you?
Yeah, he logged me off, but he's been gone too much. Stop working. He literally stepped on the leave button. I'm back, you guys.
You're back. All right, Sevrin, take it away with the men's college roundup.
Yeah, men's college roundup time, and let's start in D3, where we just want to recognize Southern Virginia defeating Springfield 3-0 for your Division III 2025 national champions, and to the conference tournaments in D1, D2. Big upsets, guys. Long Beach State, #1 overall team this year, lost to Hawaii in the Big West tournament, and Pepperdine on a tear defeated USC and UCLA to win the MPSF tournament. Let's take a look at your bracket. Our first match is going to be on May 2nd. It's Penn State versus Damon. That's at 4 p.m. there. And then just the semifinal round, the quarterfinal round is, math. That's how that works. It's got a lot of great matchups. You got UCLA versus Belmont Abbey. Hawaii is going to take on the winner of the Penn State and Damon match, and Fort Valley State versus Long Beach State. And then maybe the match that I've got circled, it's #5 Pepperdine against #4 Loyola Chicago. Really excited to see what Loyola Chicago does too. I feel like they've been flying under the radar a little bit. As I mentioned earlier, on May 10th, we've got the semifinals, and on May 12th, we have the championship. I will be there for that. So if you see me, come say hi. If you want to follow along on our coverage, you can do that on all of our social platforms. It's go time in men's college volleyball. Those upsets from the conference tournaments were super exciting. And obviously, we didn't mention everything. So if you want the full write-up, if you want to read everything that went on, make sure you check out our website, usavolleyball.org, for the full men's college roundup. We only got a few left in this year, so stay tuned. And yeah, can't wait for the championship match.
Clarence, so excited to have you back for this because, we've yet to find something that rhymes with Steven that's related to news. So take it away, Pro News with Hughes.
All righty. Well, it's good to be back there. We are in the final week of Pro Volleyball Federation play before the playoffs begin on Friday, May 9th. Be sure to check out USA Volleyball social media and other information on the calendar at usavolleyball.org each week for schedule updates and all other things that pique your interest. All 4 playoff tickets have been punched. The Omaha Supernovas, the Atlanta Vibe, the Orlando Valkyrie, and the Indy Ignite all have clinched postseason bids. Oh, man. Bids just takes new junior season, which we're already in and still in bid season here. But back to this. They will look to defend their title in Vegas. Viva Las Vegas in their first season in PVF. The Indy Ignite are looking to make a postseason run despite going in with a 5-match losing streak. They took care of business with a 3-1 victory over the San Diego Mojo to claim their final playoff berth. Anything's possible. I just think of Kevin Garnett there every time. Celtics 09 championship, 08 championship. Anyways, back to this. Semifinals. Throwback, yes. The semifinals are set for May 9th, like I stated before, with the championship happening on Sunday, May 11th. All will take place in Las Vegas, Nevada at Lee's Family Forum. Both semis and the final will be live on CBS Sport Network. So make sure you log in. In other pro news, a huge shout out to friends of the pod, Team TKN, or should we now say TBKN. Got to add a new Brasher to Taryn's new last name, but shout out to Taryn and Kristen for having some great tournaments recently. I believe they took silver a few weeks ago at the Elite 16 Saquarema. Hopefully I pronounced that one right there. And they won gold following week at the Elite 16 Brasilia. So congratulations to both of you and keep up the good work. Up next, also congratulations to our very first guest of the pod and maybe soon to be guest again. Just going to sprinkle that out in the atmosphere there. But congratulations to April Ross on accepting the new head of coaching job for the U.S. Beach National Team. Cannot wait to catch up with you and learn more at your earliest convenience. So if you come across this podcast, then we can get something scheduled. But keeping it rolling in other news, the boys U19 roster, men's U21 roster, girls U19 Pan Am Cup roster, girls U19 World Championship roster, and girls U19 U21 World Championship girls rosters have all been announced. Head over to usavolleyball.org for more. A lot of work goes into announce these rosters, so make sure you go to usavolleyball.org and look into detail, look into the presentation, and shout out to the work behind the work to put this out to the public there too. All those rosters, make sure you look at them there too. But moving on to Olympic volleyball venues, indoor will be in Anaheim, California, and beach will be in the LBC. Yes, Long Beach, California, my hometown. I cannot wait. I'm definitely going to be around in 28, just either working or there on vacation, because there's no way I'm missing the Olympic beach volleyball and Olympic volleyball in my hometown. But anyways, personal bias aside there. Moving on to a very special night happening very, very, very soon. Be part of a special night honoring volleyball's finest. The 2025 USA Volleyball Hall of Fame will be taking place in Denver. That's right, Denver, Colorado, which is technically Steven's new hometown. Mine as well. I mean, just an hour up the freeway on May 21st. Down the street. My wife. I'm just kidding. Get your tickets now. Hall of Fame is going to be a very, very, very special presentation, a very, very special ceremony this year. Like we mentioned above in the ad read before, a lot of greats happening there too. A lot of greats being honored. So be sure to get your tickets right now. That's right. Right now, as you listen to this podcast. The 2025 Para Volley Pan Am Zonal Championship will be held following the Hall of Fame on May 23rd through 28th in Denver. The same exact dates, the same exact venue, the same exact precise location of the exhibit halls in the Colorado Convention Center as the Open National Championship. 2 for 1. Be sure to watch the U.S. men and U.S. women's sitting national teams compete against some of the world's top countries. And it's even better because this is a free event. So if you live in the Denver area, if you need a vacation, somewhere to go, use those Southwest points before they expire and they go all business on people. Make sure you come out to Denver. Very accessible airport to get to. So come out and show Team USA your love and support. In addition to that, as mentioned earlier, in addition to the 2025 Para Volley Pan Am Zonal Championship, like I said, we will also have the 2025 USA Volleyball Open National Championship going on May 23rd through the 28th. Come and watch some great volleyball this weekend or that weekend. This will be one of the busiest weekends in volleyball with the Pan Am Cup and also the longest running adult volleyball tournament that is open. So we are bringing the open divisions back. Yes, men's and women's open will be back. We are reviving the women's 60 division and many more divisions. Reverse co-ed forward is happening as well too. I might even have a team playing there too. Get excited. I'm excited. This group's excited. USA Volleyball is excited. PK is excited. I don't know where he's at. He's right over here showing. He actually might come up and join the call. Yes, he is right here.
There he is.
With that being said, now throwing it over to Steven to introduce our guest today.
Yep, listeners, viewers, thank you. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for sticking around through our news and just us catching up. We're excited to be back together. But here is your reward for sticking around. We have another legendary guest joining us. We're excited to welcome 3-time Olympian, 2-time Olympic medalist, Lindsey Berg, to the pod. We congratulate her on her upcoming induction into the USA Volleyball Hall of Fame coming in May. She shares what that honor means to her and reflects on her volleyball career. She talks about how she found her love for volleyball again while playing overseas in Italy. This and so much more in the upcoming conversation. So let's get to it. Here's Lindsey. Lindsey, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us on the podcast here. We're so excited to have you. Thank you again. I know your schedule is busy. We're really looking forward to the Hall of Fame ceremony coming up, which you are one of the inductees for, and we'll get into that later. But again, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you for having me.
Really curious, just kind of, put you on the spot here, with you getting inducted into the USA Volleyball Hall of Fame. For you, I mean, for a lot of fans in volleyball, a lot of other athletes, former teammates of yours, probably, you're one of the GOATs in volleyball on many lists. But I'm curious to hear from you, like, who are your top 5 GOATs? Just the athletes that you kind of think of first when you think of who kind of helped shape the game of volleyball.
Yeah, volleyball. When I was watching, I grew up in Hawaii, and I was so fortunate to grow up in Hawaii around legends just in general and in a place that supports the sport of volleyball, I think, like no other. And so I grew up just like every day around a bunch of legends just in general. And, I can't necessarily name 5 because my group of legends are more in like groups. So growing up in the outrigger sand volleyball courts, playing with my dad's best friends, a Daddy Hayne, a Chris Crabb, all of even my dad who played nationals. So he was 55, just around cool. That group of legends that are now, between the ages of 70 and even 90. That's who I first saw playing volleyball. And I was just sitting there as a toddler and just on my dad's lap often and just getting the ball thrown to me. So that was the original GOATs for me. Definitely were my dad and my dad's friends and all of the legends in Hawaii and on the beach courts. And then I was growing up, fortunate enough to play with Asics Rainbows Volleyball, which is no longer around, but it was Dave Shoji's club. And at that time, I'd get to see all the legends that are playing at UH, Lisa Strand-Ma'a, later on, Robin Amo Santos, who became my teammate, but I really, really looked up to her. So all the legends at University of Hawaii, too many to name, but I was wiping the floors, ball shagging around them so often as well, because Dave was a really good family friend. And then I went to college, and in college, I'm looking up to a Misty May. I'm looking up to even, Logan was 1 year behind me, but a Logan Tom, and all of those great athletes that were in my college years, too many to name again, were people I definitely looked up to, whether they were setters or not setters, of just the passion that I saw and the work ethic that I saw. And then while being there, the ones that were in the national team, that a bunch I soon got to play with. But Debbie Green is a setter that I looked up to from back in the day. Yoko Zetterlund, I saw her at the Love Championships and went up to her and was just I really love watching you play. And I just think there's too many to be a top 5, because my journey and story was so long, because I started so young, that so many different people were there that I looked up to and that, I learned from, and just, I'd say that.
I love hearing that list of legends just come out of your mouth there. That's just so cool. And yeah, just people that had such a huge influence on the game of volleyball. And of course, as you were just talking, just an influence on you too, and inspiring your journey through volleyball. So that's really cool. We just had Carrie Walsh Jennings on the podcast, and she mentioned the outrigger courts too, and how she kind of was inspired to like kind of make her own courts, small courts in her own backyard to help her kids play volleyball too and learn the game. So it was really cool that you mentioned the Outrigger club as well.
Yeah, they really shaped me even before I stepped on the indoor courts, and I'm just so thankful for growing up there and that experience.
Well, speaking of, Hall of Fame that I brought up earlier, you are 2025 class of 2025 inductee as all-time female great athlete. What was your reaction to hearing that news from John Sparrow of all people too?
You guys like the reactions better than I did. I think you're first. Yeah, I didn't really know that was being filmed, but also, on the court, I'm so dramatic and aggressive. I don't know if you guys have ever seen me play, but just like so intense and so just I show everything and give everything. And I think I'm a little different off the court. So it might have not looked like I was that excited when I got that phone call, but definitely inside, I'm just so honored. I think it's the highest or one of the highest honors you can get in the world of volleyball. And just to think that I never even knew that the Olympics was possible for me and the national team was possible for me. So going from, just being like an island girl that was overlooked a lot, that, struggled with her height and her size to a 3-time Olympian and a Hall of Famer is really special. And I'm so honored.
I think we may have lost Sevrin for a second. Oh, wait, it looks like you're back.
Yeah.
Severin's laptop got hit by a ball while he was covering the NCAA men's tournament or matches a couple weeks ago. So his connection is a little off right now. But Sevrin, do we have you back here?
Sorry, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Yeah.
We got it.
It's okay. Great. I heard the tail end of talking about being inducted into the Hall of Fame, which again, we're just so awesome to see, and just super happy to be able to see that up for you, Lindsey. But so assuming we've asked that now that I'm back, so just want to ask you about now being in Louisville and being at the finals. And we were able to watch it on TV and see how awesome it was. But tell us what it was like being there live in person.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the first serve in Atlanta as well. So I did the first serve and then I did the finals. So I got to see, kind of like it going from nothing to something and then ending this incredible inaugural season. I'm fortunate enough to be an investor in it. And I think it's absolutely amazing. Even though I thoroughly enjoyed my years overseas and playing overseas, and it definitely changed my life. What this is showing to young girls all around the United States and hopefully all around the world is just another opportunity and like something to look forward to, with these ladies getting another opportunity to play after college that would have never gone overseas, and also to the ones that have been overseas and coming back and being able to play in front of their families still, like a bunch of the Olympians. It's just all around incredible. For what they did, for being a first season as a standalone company, organization, federation, whatever you want to call it, is absolutely amazing. And everything about it was so enjoyable, the first serve and the final, that I was a part of. And I am just so proud of everybody involved, the people that you don't see, the people that you see, how hard they've been working for 5 years to get this going. And it is really, really special.
It was so cool to see, just in this inaugural season, just the parity in the league as far as like, Love Omaha, Love Austin. They were at the bottom of the league standings going in, and they just turned it on, heading into the playoffs and ended up in the finals against each other. For you, did you see that coming? Did you have any like early predictions of who would kind of come out on top? But I guess could you speak to like just the competition side and how competitive each team was for that league?
Yeah, I can't say I watched like every match all season. But I did know like who was veering towards the top at the end, and Atlanta was doing really good. Salt Lake was taking everybody to 5. But, with volleyball or with any game, if it's just one match, anybody can win. If you guys are that good, as in the Olympics, like you play everybody at the Olympics, it's just one match and anything can go. And those two teams fought a little harder at the end and in the finals, and they got there, So I know the other teams that were doing really well all season weren't too happy about it, but that's sport. And I think it really shows great competitiveness and that all the teams had great players, and in any given night, anybody could win.
Just looking ahead to season 2, and it might be still too early for, to even talk about really, but is there anything that you kind of hope to see from the league, or anything that you kind of hope, the league kind of continues the momentum and grows from here?
Yeah, I don't believe they're looking to expand this next year, but hopefully in the future. But I think they just got to continue. Something that was so special to me that I saw in the finals was their support for the actual players, their celebration of the players after at the gala. My experience in pro volleyball, we're playing overseas and we're playing for these organizations. And if we win, the organizations are celebrated, and like the president of the league celebrated, and just those types of things. And it was really special to see them putting all of their effort into celebrating the players that are actually making this happen. And that was like one of the most special things. And I hope that they continue to do that. And I know that they will, because it is like their focus of really having players stay here, having the best players come and play here as well in the league. And they're doing a really good job.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, the athlete first part was super cool, just to see from my point of view as a fan. And even when I did go to Salt Lake City the last weekend of the regular season for Love, and just even like the MC, like in-house MC, pointing out just like specific facts about each athlete as they were going up to serve or made a kill was really cool to hear and to see. And I agree. That was just a really fun part. And I hope they continue to do that too. And even down to just like the pregame style stuff was fun too. I thought that was awesome. Well, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but would love to hear kind of your background in volleyball. And you mentioned just the legacy of volleyball in your family alone, but just the icons that you grew up around too. But how were you introduced to volleyball while you were growing up in Hawaii?
Yeah, so my dad played at University of Santa Barbara. He's from the Los Angeles, Southern California area, and moved to Hawaii, and he met my mom, and that's that. But he was always the volleyball player, and he was told there's a huge volleyball community in Hawaii after college, and he just took the leap and moved to Hawaii, met incredible people, and just played on those courts, played for Outrigger Canoe Club in nationals. So my dad is originally the one that definitely got me into it. And then throughout that time, surrounded by the legends and playing club and being at a great high school, Punahou, with the legends as well. And so that's really my background. It's really easy to play volleyball in Hawaii. Like everybody wants to do it. Everybody's supporting you. And I'm so grateful of growing up there and having that support. So that's really my background in Hawaii. I loved it. Played other sports, but volleyball I was obsessed, just begging everybody to pepper with me, going to the beach courts, begging people to play mixed doubles with me when I was like 10. So we have all of those stories. So my all-around game was pretty good when I was young.
Any early memories of that first match, that first match when you were 10, anything like that?
My first match, I don't know, but one of my first mixed doubles partner was either Chris Crabb, my uncle, who's Trevor and Taylor's father, Crabb, beach players, or Peter Balding, who was my varsity coach. I forget which one, anyways, was like, I'm going to play with her in the mixed doubles. We're going to get better. But there was a bunch of just some of my dad's friends and family that really supported me and wanted me to get better. And I'd just be playing with all of these older people on the beach. As Lisa Strama'a played with me in a couple tournaments down in Walls, and just, really iconic Hawaii people who were just really a part of my journey. And I'm grateful.
So then for college, you attended and competed for the University of Minnesota, which is a complete different environment from where you.
Yeah.
What made you choose there, and what's the difference in obviously the living situations, the climate, the whole thing for you?
Yeah. So the recruiting process was pretty tough for me. Back then, you know, there's no Instagram, there's none of these things. And so we'd go to the mainland for tournaments maybe like 1 or 2 times a year. And that's the only time that colleges would see us. And I was shorter. I was also, well, they say I was like overweight, maybe a little slow, whatever those things are that they want to say or said. And so I wasn't like the top recruit, but I was definitely getting offers and places I wanted to go. They were still like, you could walk on, like Stanford, I really wanted to go to, but they had 2 setters ahead of me, like in the year ahead of me. And, you know, and I wasn't going to not go on a scholarship and make my parents pay to walk on, and who knows what happened. So there were all different scenarios like that. Minnesota, the head coach was Mike Hebert, also a legend. My dad had played with him in Santa Barbara, and my dad was just like, you should just go for a visit, go try. And I'm like, where's Minnesota? Like, where is it? So I went before it was cold. And I hate to say this because my experience was great, but I kind of just like was so sick of all of the recruiting, just wanted to know where I was going, wanted to be part of something, was happy that I'd be part of something that we'd grow together in Minnesota. And I kind of just was like, okay, like, it's nothing like, oh my gosh, I went to like the college I wanted to go to and that type of story. It was kind of like, okay, I'll go. I can get in business school. Okay, cool. All right, I'll figure it out. Jackets, whatever. So it was kind of like that. I think it's what was supposed to happen for me and part of my journey and part of learning how to be really, really uncomfortable in a place. My freshman year was not good for so many reasons, and almost transferred when nobody was transferring back then, not like now, especially. But so that's kind of the story, or is the story of my Minnesota, how I got to Minnesota.
Well, I'd love to kind of journey on from, well, move on to your career with the national team too after college. And did you run into that kind of same adversity or the same struggles that you did with recruiting, kind of making that national team? Or what was your introduction to the national team post college?
Yeah, actually before college, I think it was 14s or 16s, maybe even 16s. There were a couple like junior national teams I tried out for, and
Okay.
I was definitely the best setter. And I don't say that often, but now looking back, I can, and people telling me that I can, but I wasn't chosen. They were always choosing a 6 foot setter, 6'1" setter, and I never got chosen. So my taste, I had a really bad taste for USA Volleyball for like a very, very long time. I'm just like, give me a chance. Like, I'm here. I'm proving that I'm the best setter. Maybe not the best athlete, maybe not the best whatever you want, but I was definitely the best setter in those camps when I did those. And I finished college early, right after my last season. And they had started the league USPV. There was one professional season of it. And I got drafted to the Minnesota Chill because I was with Minnesota, and Kevin Hambley, who's the head coach at Stanford now, was assistant coach for the national team and was assistant coach for the Minnesota Chill. And I played that season with him. And without him, he told Toshi Yoshida that I should have a tryout with the USA national team, 2-week tryout. Toshi's like, okay, she gets a 2-week tryout. Okay, kind of like that. And that's all I needed. I went there. I was so sore for so long. It was so many hours. It was like 9-hour days. My body was definitely not built for that. But I got that shot from Kevin, and he really believed in me, and he saw it in me, and Toshi listened to him. And that is the only reason I ever got in the USA gym.
I love that. The 2 weeks, it's on. Let's go. That's so cool.
Yeah. And my dad and I drove out there from Minnesota. It was quite the thing. They gave me my gas money back. you know.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's how it was back then. Now we're doing good, you know. Back then was like pay your way, reimburse.
I'm surprised you even got that back. That's awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Definitely want to ask you more about your U.S. Pro League experience, but before then, just want to go back to, do you remember what thoughts and emotions were for you the first time you're in that locker room putting on the USA jersey, just what you were feeling in that moment?
Yeah, it was quite a throw me in there. Robin was coming back. I can't remember if she was coming back from having her first child or she was injured. So I got thrown in once I made it past like the first tryouts and like our training team and all the vets came back and it was time for that summer. I was like thrown into there to start and it was I was just like, let's go, you know, you gave me the opportunity. I'm going to put that on. I knew I was good enough to be there and I finally got the opportunity. So it was like an exciting moment, but oh yeah, you're not done. You got to show your stuff out there. You got this opportunity. You earn now your spot, but you got to keep your spot because, you know, they didn't announce the Olympic team till like 2 weeks before the Olympics, especially for my first Olympics. So it was a constant grind, a constant pushing yourself. And it was pretty special though.
And I mean, what a journey you were on too. Just in our conversation here, you were talking about just the struggles you had getting recruited in college to some of those big time schools, the school programs, and then getting 2 weeks to prove yourself for the national team too. But then fast forward, 3-time Olympian, 2-time Olympic silver medalist. I guess just kind of reflecting on that at all, you know, have you had time to even like think about what that journey was for you with the national team and just, you know, your whole volleyball journey as a whole?
Yeah, I think about it a lot. I can't believe I did it, actually. There were times just physically and mentally that it was so hard. And just like not fun sometimes, you know, you're in the gym so many hours, especially our first 2 quads with Toshi and Jenny. We practiced a lot and we were in Colorado Springs and, you know, living in the dorms and just, you know, not amazing living conditions as far as like of you really wanting to like your teammate or like what you're doing just in general because it was really tough. And so I think that, yeah, I often think about a lot of the things that we went through and that I pushed through, thinking about the times where I wanted to quit or there actually was a time I quit. I think about it all. And it was, I can't believe I did it. Really, it just comes down to it feels like a whole different life, especially the life I lead now. But yeah, it was quite the journey. Quite the journey. I think it'd be a little different now. Even our last quad was a little different. Living in California, I had a home, like just a bunch of different things that made everything else so much more enjoyable, like going to practice more enjoyable, you know? And so I think USA Volleyball has made huge strides and great strides to really make things a lot more comfortable for the athletes now.
What got you through those times when you were on the fence of, you know, wanting to quit or kind of give up volleyball or give up the national team? What got you through those times?
Yeah, my main core of support was always my family. My parents are great. My sister is great. My grandmother was great. Like they were my core, of course. And then, you know, you have your teammates that you feel close enough to that maybe it was some that I started with when I came in 2003, that January 2003. There was a bunch of us college players that came in together that still made it through a while. But we went through it together. And I think you kind of veer towards those people. I had a great relationship with Robin and so thankful for that. And she was someone I leaned on often. And yeah, I think it's either your teammates or your family.
If you could visit your pre-Olympic self and give, you know, you some words of encouragement maybe, or say something that might be able to help get through that even easier. Do you know what that would be? Do you have something in mind that you might say to yourself?
So I couldn't hear you like the first 5 words. So can you say that?
Sorry.
Sorry. Okay.
If you could visit your past self from before the Olympic experience, would you say any encouragement to yourself, and what might that be?
Yeah, I had a lot of people saying a lot of different things about me and doubting me. So, it's don't listen to what other people have to say. That was always one thing that I had to use and get through. And I would tell myself that again if I had the opportunity to do that. Maybe even a little more, maybe, F them, which I wasn't that strong then, but now looking back, I wish I was, because at the end of the day, really didn't matter. And then you find your people, find your people that are going to support you. And then also to have other things to do on your mind. I think the women playing now are really good at that. And a lot of them have different passions that even they've started businesses or they're really into other things. And I think we were really just like this. And a lot of us experience burnout and experience frustration. So I would have told myself to find your other little things that make you happy to get through those times as well.
You mentioned the women playing now, and even looking back to Tokyo, getting that first gold medal for the program. What was your reaction to that? Did you, have any conversations with those athletes on that team?
Yeah. I mean, watching it was we blew 12, so we should have had gold in 12.
Yeah.
I still say it. It's still the best. But, anything happens in that final match. But no, it was absolutely amazing. I actually got to know a lot of them because I had tried to start a content project in 2018 that followed around those women. And so I got to know a lot of them. And so I was just so happy for them. I even got into Instagram. I was getting called out by the Brazilians on Instagram because of my support was so big. And I was like, not tonight or something. And I got attacked.
Yep.
Attacked. I felt like I was back to my playing days where I was getting attacked to certain things. I was like, oh my gosh, turn comments off. But
Brazilian fans do not hold back. Yeah.
It was really, and they're great, by the way. Yeah. They're great. Yeah. But I was just so happy. I was passionate. I just moved into my new home in the garage. I had a projector and I had some people come over for those games. Tayuba came over, Brooke Billings came over, another friend, the Killian family. So yeah, I was pumped, and it felt even so great too, because I felt like I knew those women a lot better, even though they're a lot younger than me. But through my project, I got to know them and their stories, and it was just amazing. Just so sorry they couldn't do it in front of a crowd, but it was amazing.
Well, love since you brought up the project, and I'm pretty familiar with it because I did follow along during that quad. But for our fans who don't know, could you just talk a little bit about that project and maybe some of the highlights for you as you did that?
Yeah, I think I was a little too early in the content game because now the same stories are coming out that I did, and the same type of content, and it's really normal now. But 2018, I think I was one of the first to start doing these types of things, and I was doing it on my own, so not a ton of support other than obviously from USA Volleyball. But it was hard, but I thought that was a way, because I don't want to coach and didn't want to coach, of me giving back to the sport with my kind of creative mind and creative way. And I love storytelling because I think that my story was great, and all of these women have different stories that weren't at that point in time being told. Through my years of playing, they weren't being told. And I really thought this was the way to capture the young kids playing out there. And so that was the Cuore project. Cuore means heart in Italian. And that's because I got my heart back for volleyball after the 2004 Olympics by going to Italy and playing professionally. So it's no longer around, but I am proud that I did it. I put a lot of work. COVID, I think, hindered it a little bit. But I put a lot of work into it for about 2.5 years. And like I said, I got to know those women so great, who some are like really good friends. And if that's what, I think I touched a few lives out there, and that's enough for me. So I let everyone else now do the content. I'm good.
Well, you said too early, but I would say ahead of the game. So thank you so much for sharing those stories and highlighting those women too. It was very important for volleyball. Yeah.
Absolutely echo what Steven said. And Lindsey, if we can go back to your professional career in the U.S. and playing for the United States Professional Volleyball League and the Minnesota Chill, can you expand a little bit more on what it was like in that league?
Yeah.
And then has that shaped maybe your involvement with League One based on that maybe?
Yeah, I mean, that was such a whirlwind. I graduated in December, had, I think, a week off, and then went to Rochester. The team had already been practicing, I think, for like a month or a month and a half. So I was quite late there. Again, I had to prove myself and beat out they already had 2 setters. So, again, I was on the grind, or I guess before going to the national team, but I was definitely having to prove myself again after coming off a great college career. And it was like a quick 2.5 months or 3 months, maybe. It's such a blur. There's only 4 teams. Chicago was supposed to win. We upset them and won the whole league. And it was fun. It was really fun. Got to meet some, different people that I played against in the Big Ten. It was a lot of Big Ten players in the whole league. And it was just a really cool experience. But it proved like how difficult it is to have a league that was funded by one person. And, it just wasn't sustainable at that point in time, especially volleyball wasn't even close to where it is now, especially like the amount of people watching college, let's say. The Big Ten had good crowds, but that's about it. So it was cool. It was a nice little transition right after college and making a little money. And obviously for me, it was the biggest opportunity ever to be in front of Kevin and get that experience. But yeah, it's too bad that, the PVF started now, let's say 2 years ago, the other league, and there's Athletes Unlimited. I think this Love has done it a little different, and they're really doing, from like the ground up, the grassroots of having these clubs and having these kids and figuring out where most of them are going to be so they can have the pro teams there to watch and play with each other and all that stuff. So I think eventually for our sport to be big and what it deserves, I think we need to have one league total. But just seeing everybody so excited of investing into volleyball and in leagues, I think it's an honor to hear that there's enough people that want to invest in 3 leagues and want to invest, and we have enough players for that. I think it's amazing. But I think for us to, hit the status of a WNBA, or the soccer leagues out there, we need to come together as a volleyball community and have one amazing league that maybe is, 2 divisions within one league. Just my thoughts.
Thank you for sharing those. And I think a lot of people have that same sentiment too. Why not put all the, resources into one league? But it is great to see that there's just so many opportunities for these athletes to play professional volleyball here in the U.S. And, I think it's just awesome for the sport to continue to grow in the U.S. as well. You mentioned just how difficult it was, you're in 2002 playing in that professional league kind of just proved how difficult it is to start it in the U.S. But I guess why do you think now is the right time for professional volleyball to really just come out in front of the general sports audience and be successful?
Yeah. I think it's been ready, to be honest. I think, the volleyball community is huge, the number one sport for little girls out there.
Yep.
The volleyball community is huge. Why I think everyone was also always worried about a professional league is non-volleyball people watching. Mm-hmm. And I think they still are trying to get those non-volleyball people to watch. But in general, our volleyball community is so big. So we need to just get our whole volleyball community watching these games, and these pros go from there. And that's, what the WNBA did. They took a long, long time to be something, and they had the support of, and they had the support of the NBA too. That's why I was saying it's so special what Love has done in like just their own entity. So I think like my wish for the volleyball community is like to step out there for each other, and to support each other. I think that has always been a little problem within the volleyball community, where it was more like we're kind of competing against each other instead of working together. And so now is the time to go and support all these leagues that are out there. And now's the time that you can actually see maybe, Jordan's done, or so Jordan Poulter, maybe that's like your favorite player, and you can now like actually go and see her play in person. And these are things that are so exciting. So I really actually say to all the parents out there that get your kids to these games. And it's a big time for women's sports in general and the support of women's sports. And that's why it is a great time, for these professional leagues. But I do think we have to really start with our community, supporting our community, going to these games, parents taking their kids to like be able to look up to who they might not even know that they can look up to this person, So I think there's so much growth still. We made it so far, but I think we got to come together. The volleyball community's got to come together and support our own.
Yeah, it kind of feels like we've barely scratched the surface. Yeah. Well said, Lindsey. Thank you for that.
Yeah, just also too, Lindsey, with what you're saying, I just want to echo too, like you're talking about the parents and bringing the kids, and they get to see such great role models out in the court, just like, you were as well. So it's giving them, great people to look to as well, and finding that access. So that's very well said.
And these women are incredible humans. I mean, they are stopping and talking to the kids. They're cool. They're fun. They're funny. It's great. It is great to watch. It's great entertainment. They're dancing. They're having a good time. They are literally looking like they are loving what they're doing, and that it's not a job. And that's like really special to see, because I think little kids can look up to that and be like, oh, that looks fun. Oh, I can do this and make money, or, I can be there too. So it's really special.
Would love to hear more about your professional career moving into kind of the international side, playing club pro overseas. And you mentioned just finding your love for volleyball again in Italy as well. Would love to hear more about that story and just your time playing professionally overseas.
Yeah, I had when I joined the national team in 2003, like I said, it was that was a journey. And it was a lot of practice, and a lot of it wasn't fun. And we underachieved at the Olympics. And I really didn't know if I wanted to play volleyball again. And, that's very sad to think of going to an Olympics. I'm still only, I don't know how old I was, 24, ending the Olympics, and that I want to be done playing volleyball. And so I had to really think about that. And I got approached by the Italian coach. He was like one of the assistant coaches for the Italian national team. So he had seen me play a lot within the last year and a half. He loved my passion and my heart. And they were starting, it was Pesaro just had moved up to the A1 league in Italy, and he wanted me. And so it was good money. And I was like, let me just give this a shot. Like, volleyball is my love. There's no way I can go out feeling like this. And so I went and I got my love back. Italy is absolutely incredible. It was hard that nobody spoke English. The coach didn't speak English. I had one and a half teammates that kind of spoke English. Still friends to this day. One of my best friends. But best like 7 years, rough in different ways, but played in Italy for 7 years, and it got all my love back. It was absolutely amazing. Changed my life. I still say for the players coming out of college, if they do have an opportunity to go overseas, at least for 1 year, I still think they should, even though we have these leagues here at some point in time, because it's just a whole different world, and it's a really good experience.
Yeah, I've yet to experience outside of the Olympics, but yet to experience an international match in like Europe or Asia. I think it would be so cool to see that atmosphere and those fans. And I mean for the athletes too, just to experience the culture and that fan base and playing international volleyball with those clubs. I think I think would be beneficial
so
for
cool.
sure.
Yeah, you need to go. You need to go on a Italy-Turkey tour next season and go see. It's
Italy,
incredible.
Turkey. Okay, I'll put that on the list. Yeah, make sure I try to make it there.
Yeah.
You've touched on the contrast a little bit, but is the atmosphere the biggest part of it? Is it the structure? Obviously, the structure is very different too, but your practices, I'm assuming that was very different from when you played in the West. What were some of the other differences?
Yeah. We practiced a lot. I was always on teams that were really good or coaches that like to practice. I think it varied for other people. But I think the biggest difference is just, communicating with your teammates, and some don't speak English. And now I think it's a lot better. But back in the day, it wasn't. And you're playing with a bunch of different people from different cultures. And especially as a setter, you got to communicate with everybody, your coach, and you got to be the leader, even if you're not the captain. And I think those are some of the harder things initially. I think just being away from your family and your friends, it's far and it's a long time. And fortunately, I got paid all my salaries, and that is a huge issue sometimes. I don't know if it still is, but I definitely had very good experiences, and I have some teammates that did not have good experiences. So I don't know if it's lucky or it just, I chose to be on certain teams because of their reputation, and I knew that I'd have a good experience and a good opportunity there. But what else is different? I mean, once you get to the national team and you're playing internationally and then you're playing pro, it all kind of intertwines a little bit because you're seeing a lot of the same people often. You're playing against a lot of the same people. But now I think it's a lot easier. I mean, I didn't even have a cell phone when we first went over there, now like you talk to your friends every day on FaceTime if you want. So the experiences are a little different, but I learned a different language. I have lifetime friends that are not from the United States. I learned how to drive stick shift. Someone speaking to me in Italian on a hill, like I will never forget because they didn't have a standard car. And I was like, I need a car. And so my teammate Volley, she's like, I'll teach you, Lynn. And she put me on a hill and I was like, what? So just, all of those experiences, I don't think you'll have if you just stay here. But to each their own. Some people love it and some people don't. I really embraced it. And they embraced me. So it was enjoyable.
Love hearing about your journey through volleyball, especially fun stories like that too. So thank you for sharing. Looking ahead to LA 28, you got to compete in 3 Olympics, but none of them were on U.S. soil. I guess, could you maybe put yourself back in your shoes as you were competing at the Olympics? What would it feel like for a U.S. athlete to compete at the highest stage in sports in front of, their friends and family on U.S. soil and in their home country?
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine. Obviously, we didn't get to play that much here, even in like friendly matches leading up to the Olympics. There were maybe a couple in my last squad. Fortunately, lots of the families seem to have traveled. I got to go to Paris this year, the first time as a spectator, and it was the best. I don't know how LA is going to do it, but Paris was the best. So I think families are able to go, at least for the volleyball women and men, it seems as though. The interesting thing about it is you train so hard for 4 years and you're playing these teams so much that after opening ceremonies, or this is my experience, after opening ceremonies, it turns it into another tournament. Just like another tournament. These are the teams you play for so long. You know what you got to do to win. You want to win this just as much as if you're a competitor, as much as World Cup, as much as World Championships, as much as VNL. Like, you were passionate and have the same thing. So after the glitz of opening ceremonies, it feels like all business. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Like, even though it's going to be here, the whole crowd is not going to be USA.
For
Like,
sure.
tickets it's going to be the same way that everyone else gets tickets as they were the last Olympics and the Olympics before. So I think, I think in your mind, you might think it's cool, but at the end of the day, it's like, this is the Olympics, and wherever it is, it doesn't matter. We're out here to win, and we're out here to, we work so hard to be here. So I don't know if it's really gonna, I think it's more of like, oh, this is fun, it's in LA, but I don't know if it's really gonna change how they feel. But I'm not gonna hopefully here, but I don't know how it would be different because it's so special already. Doesn't matter where it is.
Right.
Yeah.
On that really quickly, Lindsey, when you were in the Olympics, did you feel like it was another tournament? Did you have any extra nerves when you were getting ready to start those matches? Was it just another high level tournament for you?
Yeah, I'd say my first match, I'd have the most nerves. So it's like opening ceremonies and first match. And then it's like, you don't have time to have nerves. It's like you are so locked in. You play one day, you're off the next day, you're doing video, you're taking care of your body, you're nourishing your body, you're practicing. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are always asked, like, what's your favorite part about the Olympics? You get to meet a lot of people, this and that. And we didn't. I don't know if it's changed a lot with schedules or how people feel now, but we were just in there and we're expected to win, and we were locked in. And yeah, I guess you feel a little more like this is the Olympics, but all the other tournaments, we wanted to win just as bad too. So I think it does end up feeling like that, but just a little more different flags in the arena and that type of thing.
And just talking about LA and just through our conversations too, the growth of volleyball and how much is going, including just the pro leagues being here. But I guess in your eyes, your perspective, how does the U.S., how does maybe even just, USA volleyball or volleyball community in general, how do we capitalize on volleyball being volleyball at the Olympics being in the U.S. and really kind of springboarding the growth of volleyball and continuing that momentum here in the U.S.?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, like I said, our community has to come out for each other. So however many people went to the PVF games and went to the Love games, it needs to be doubled next year. Everybody knows about it now. Like, go out and support, figure out how a team, you can take your team as a coach, your whole team, or all of these different things. I think supporting the content that's being put out there as well on each of the Love pages or the PVF pages or the leagues in themselves. I think that's how we continue to grow, is we continue to support our own, like I said, and show that we're supporting our own. Why don't you guys come along with us and try and see if you enjoy this? As far as people that are not in the volleyball world, but you get someone to a volleyball game and they always enjoy it. It's just getting them there. So I think if our community continues to support each other, the ESPNs and wherever these the games are going to be played are going to see the crowds, are going to see the viewership, and then it will continue to get bigger and be in the bigger spotlight. So until we as our own continue to support, that's the only way for our growth, I believe, because the rest will come after that. So there's so many people. The volleyball community is so big. There's no reason that we shouldn't have 10,000 people at every game for these pro leagues, especially where they put these teams.
For sure. And yeah, I agree. You bring someone to a match, they're going to be hooked for life, for sure.
Yeah. And so I think showing that progress, back to your actual question, showing that progress each year leading up to the Olympics, that will get us there, of putting really now the whole volleyball community has seen all of those Olympians play for a good 3 years on USA soil. which has never happened before, you know? So it was always like, oh, who's on the Olympic team every 4 years? Because back in the day, there was no social media. There was no presence. Right. Like people really didn't know unless they really, really were into it. So this is what's really cool. Like even other people that not in volleyball maybe have saw one match and then they'll see them on the Olympic team. So I think we have a really amazing 3 years that we can push this and grow. And yeah, then it'll be so cool for the Olympics.
Well, Lindsey, thank you so much. Sevrin, unless you had one more question or any follow-ups?
No, I don't. Just really enjoying listening to just the whole perspective on volleyball. I think is fantastic. And I hope more people through listening to this or listening to you and other platforms start thinking like you do, because I think it's fantastic.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you. And before we let you go, anything we left on the table, anything you'd like to share or talk about before we say bye here?
No, I just I appreciate the support from you guys, the support from USA Volleyball. I'm honored. Happy my family's going to be there in May, and I think it's just a really cool class I'm going into with. And yeah, I'm just really grateful and thankful, and yeah.
Where can people follow you on social media or contact you if any questions about your career?
Yeah, I'm pretty much only an Instagram girly, at Napela, which is my middle name, Napela. And I respond to all DMs. I'm pretty active, not as much as before, but that's really my only social that I'm into.
You just opened yourself up that you respond to all DMs. So the Brazilian fans are coming in, right?
Right. Yeah, I think we're back. We're back in good terms.
Awesome. Well, Lindsey, thank you so much. This has been a great conversation. I think we'll all be on the ground in Denver too, so we'll get to meet in person there. And we're excited to meet you. And congratulations again.
Thank you so much. Great to meet you guys.
All right. Thank you, Lindsey. Such an awesome conversation with Lindsey. Such an honor to have her on the podcast too. Just loved hearing about her volleyball journey as well, and just the kind of ups and downs of it too, with such a legend, of her status. You don't think about, what their journey might have been like, kind of coming up, through junior volleyball, through college and into the pros, but really touched on, her struggles getting recruited through college and getting the opportunity at Minnesota was awesome for her. And then, even just up to the pro level too. She's a 3-time Olympian, 2-time Olympic medalist, but she was given 2 weeks basically for her kind of tryout for the national team. And 2 weeks is all she needed to impress those coaches. So, just loved hearing that journey that she had. And thank you to Lindsey for sharing that with us.
Yeah, I definitely echo those thoughts, Stephen. And I think she really brings a very holistic perspective to the game. And I thought it was so just incredible to hear, she's a Hall of Famer. She's one of the best to ever do it. And she had, some serious struggles with the sport, but she's not jaded by it at all. I think that what she was talking about seems like such a great kind of, perspective to have, like I mentioned, where, yeah, the sport has been, not always her friend at times, but, here she is obviously, investing in League One as well. And just really trying to not only give back, but also kind of, as she did with us, provide that perspective where it's not always sunshine and rainbows, but, it's the real version. And I think she's just got such a great perspective on the sport.
For sure. And just loved her sentiment at the end there in our conversation. Just show up, like talking to the volleyball community and how we can continue the growth of volleyball, whether it's, from the junior level all the way up to our pros, and even looking ahead to LA 2028 as well. But just calling out the volleyball community to go out, watch matches, show up, bring your clubs. If you're a coach, bring your club teams to some of those pro matches, whether it's Athletes Unlimited, PVF, Pro Volleyball Federation, and League One Volleyball. Just get some exposure for these young athletes, these youth athletes, to see what volleyball like at the highest level, and just something for them to aspire to. I think is just an awesome sentiment that she added there at the end. Again, big thank you. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I'm probably going to say the same thing you are, Stephen. Just another big thank you to Lindsey for for joining us this week. Just truly an honor to have a Hall of Famer and one of the greatest to ever play the game on the podcast. That's what we do here. We get only the best. So thank you again to Lindsey for continuing that for us.
Oh, you're on mute, Clarence.
Never mind. It was nothing important.
It looked good. You were animated.
Nah, I was just like, that's what we do. And that was it. That was it. All right. Continue on, guys. Continue on.
Well, moving things along here, we have upcoming events. These are our upcoming junior events. The U.S. Beach Club Championship in Gulf Shores, Alabama, May 1st through the 2nd. The USA Volleyball Beach Tour Gulf Coast Beach Fest National Qualifier in Gulf Shores, Alabama as well. That's May 2nd through the 4th. The zonal and local combo camps, and also in Gulf Shores. A lot happening in Gulf Shores, like we mentioned at the top of this episode here. But those camps are May 2nd through the 4th in Gulf Shores, Alabama. The Beach NTDP Accelerator, May 2nd in Gulf Shores, Alabama. The USAD Beach Tour Carolina Girls 12U through 18U Beach Regional Qualifier number 2, May 3rd in Burr Mill Park, Greensboro, North Carolina. The Girls Indoor NTDP Spring Training Series, May 8th through the 11th in Bradenton, Florida. The Beach Tour Carolina Grand Slam Beach National Qualifier Weekend 2, May 10th in Apex, North Carolina. The Beach Tour Chesapeake Summer Beach National Qualifier, May 10th through the 11th in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. The Beach Tour Florida Beach National Qualifier on May 10th in Treasure Island, Florida. Good luck to all those teams competing, for all upcoming events, and how to register. Visit our website, usavolleyball.org. Now over to the pro side. Sevrin, take it away.
Pro events, Beach Pro Tour Futures Valencia is April 30th through May 4th in Spain. PBT Futures Navali May 1st through 4th in the Philippines. Got Futures Serbia May 8th through 11th in Italy. And BPT Futures Madrid Men Only May 8th through 11th in Spain. As mentioned, we have May 9th being the Pro Volleyball Federation semifinals, followed by the championship match on May 11th. You can watch all the finals action on CBS Sports Network. And the U.S. men's sitting national team, as we also mentioned, the training camp May 1st through 4th in Edmond, Oklahoma. And again, at the top, we've said it a couple times, but it's because you need to go. You need to watch. As mentioned, the 2025 Paravolley Pan Am Zonal Championship, May 23rd through 28th in Denver. Excited for all of these events. And everything going on all at once, but a lot of great volleyball action just really this week and for the rest of this month as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if there's a topic you want us to chat about or a guest you want featured on this podcast, like a national team athlete, a club coach, a junior athlete, an official, or anyone in our sport, you want to hear it, you can email us at the USAV show at usav.org. Let us know how much you're loving the show, or let us know how much you're not. Feedback goes both ways. But anyways, as a reminder, new episodes drop every other week. And until then, thank you all for listening to yet another episode of the USA Volleyball Show, the official podcast of USA Volleyball.
This has been the USA Volleyball Show with Clarence Hughes and Stephen Munson. Produced by Curtis Ward. Our content producers are Sevrin Labenstein and Laura Fawcett. Our marketing lead is Bree Jaycox. If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to rate and review. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the USA Volleyball Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.